Think about this. Last year there were more than 2 billion interviews, and no two were the same. So how do you prepare? The same as you would for a sports contest. In each case, you can't plan precisely how things will go, but you can have a game plan. Interviewing, of course, is a selling situation, and that always involves establishing personal chemistry. It's not only what you say that's important, but what's happening in terms of personal chemistry while you say it. Let's look at 7 ways to build rapport. Tappett's rule number 1. Use research to help build chemistry. Did you ever meet anyone for the first time who knew a lot about you? It takes you by surprise, doesn't it? It's a great way to make a positive first impression. Many people have built successful businesses this way. A highly regarded Tappett client revealed that 4 out of every 5 of his own clients told him he won their business because he knew more about them than anyone else. So learn as much as you can about the company, the industry, and if possible, about the person you're meeting. Many people have been able to get job descriptions, organization charts, and brochures ahead of time by simply requesting them over the phone. Tappett's rule number 2. Build chemistry with the front office staff. Can you guess what percentage of executives say their assistants' opinions influence them? What do you think? 1/3? Half? Well, about 2/3 of them do. Here's how this might affect you. Not too long ago, the president of a growing services firm was interrupted by his assistant, Joey, who stated that Mr. Baxter had arrived for his 2 o'clock interview. He was busy and had forgotten about the appointment, so he asked, "What do you think of him, Joey?" She didn't say a word. She just gave a thumbs down signal. That was the end for poor Baxter. The president told Joey to have him see one of his managers, but to tell him her opinion first. So be attentive to assistants, receptionists, and others who work up front. You can do more than make friends. You might have a conversation that gives you information that'll help in the interview. When you go out of your way to be respectful, people will often go out of their way to help you. Tappett's rule number 3. Build chemistry with your attitude and image. Psychologists tell us the way we expect to be treated has a lot to do with the way we are treated. So build positive expectations and picture a friendly interviewer. What determines personal chemistry? People silently react to the image you project, your posture and body language, the things you say about any subject, and the way you answer your questions. It isn't just physical image either. It's also a matter of attitude, interest, enthusiasm, and your outlook on life. Go to someone who is not close to you and might be critical. Ask them what kind of an attitude they think you project. Ask for their honest opinion on how you can carry yourself, eye contact, and mannerisms. Listen to what they have to say, then check out the same things with someone on your own side. Somewhere between the two, there will be an accurate picture. Tappett's rule number 4. Build chemistry by paying sincere compliments. Do people like receiving compliments? You bet they do. So before the interview, read about the company and uncover some good things to say. Somewhere in those first few minutes, find the opportunity to let the person know that you've heard good things. This will show that you know something about the company, and it's also what we call a third-party compliment, where you're passing on the good news that you heard from others. Now, you can compliment their facilities, people, products, advertising, public relations, or anything. Whatever you do, be specific. Don't just say people you know are impressed by the product. Talk about why they're impressed, the product's design, its simplicity, its reliability, or whatever. All of us like to hear how our products have pleased customers. By giving details, you show that you have given it some thought and that your compliment is not just empty flattery. Tappett's rule number 5. Build chemistry in the way you answer your questions. The way you answer questions has more to do with building positive chemistry than what you say. For example, suppose you get the old standby, "Tell me about yourself." Chances are you're not sure what they want to hear. You could start out by talking about the kind of person you are and some of your abilities, but that might not be what the interviewer is interested in. Faced with such a dilemma, a safe way out is to self-qualify your answer. "Certainly, Mr. Jones, I'd be happy to tell you about myself. And I suppose you're most interested in my work experience. I'll focus on the past few years and how they relate to this position. I can start with my most recent experience and work backwards if you like." Now, when you encounter difficult questions, one way to handle them is with what the Tappett staff calls the U-turn technique, where you back up, shift a bit, then redirect the discussion to what the interviewer thinks. For example, if an interviewer says, "You look very impressive on paper, Chuck. If you're this good, you ought to be able to solve all of our problems. Tell me, why should we hire you?" Of course, you know that the person doesn't believe you're that good, but you can answer in a way that acknowledges the status of the interviewer and maybe even pays an indirect compliment. Your reply might go like this: I have experience the firm could use, but it would be presumptuous of me to tell you what you need before I've even shown the courtesy of listening to what you think the priorities are. If you'd be kind enough to share some of your thoughts on that, perhaps I could give you a more intelligent answer. With a response like that, you're likely to get a knowing smile, often followed by a careful explanation of the way things really are in that company. Why? Because you've followed a proven principle. If you want to influence people, you not only have to let them know you're listening, you also have to make them feel you respect them and that they are in control. Tappett's rule number 6: listen, find out what they want, and build chemistry as you do it. Like we said earlier, that an interview is like a sales call, and the key to making any sale is finding out what the customer really wants. Sometimes the interviewer will get directly to the point and tell you exactly what they're looking for. That makes it easy. All you need to do is take your listening ability and put it to work. When you run into people who are not good interviewers, be ready to ask job-related questions that will start this person talking about the areas where you can help the firm. But don't expect to be able to think of these questions on the spot. Be prepared. One of the easiest ways to impress people is to ask intelligent questions about the firm and the position. For example, find out what happened to the last person on the job, or ask the interviewer about her role in the firm, what she considers some of its most exciting growth areas, or which parts of the company she feels need the most help right now. If a situation stalls, raise questions about any subject by simply asking who, what, where, when, why, and how. Find out who the position reports to and how long they've been in the job. Pinpoint the authority that goes with the job, and find out what they expect you to accomplish in the first 6 months. Tappett's rule number 7: let employers know you have what they want, and hold the chemistry you've built. Once you know what they want, it's time for the third part of the interview. It's time to let them know you have what they want, and you need to build chemistry as you do it. The best way to do it is with action-oriented stories. The power of stories to persuade and motivate people to action has been documented by many well-known authors. So put this powerful technique to work for you. Answer questions with good action-oriented stories, which we cover in another discussion. Why? If you fail to tell a story, do you think the interviewer will remember the conversation? Don't bet on it. People don't remember random points or concepts. What people remember and what impresses most of them are stories, good stories, action-oriented stories. After-dinner speakers know this, famous coaches and motivators know it, and preachers know it. Stories are the best way to make a point, so avoid the simple yes answer and have stories ready. After you've given your story, make sure you ask for feedback. You might ask, for instance, is that the kind of approach you think might work here? A positive response from the interviewer will help fix the story in his or her memory. Last, whenever you answer questions, remember to gear your comments to potential contributions relative to sales, profits, cost reduction, efficiency, innovations, or the area where you can help. When there's silence, have questions about the field for which you already have answers. Create an opportunity to demonstrate your knowledge. There's one more thing. Being prepared builds confidence. It also means being more spontaneous. And at all times, keep eye contact and establish your sincerity and integrity. That concludes this Tappett discussion on the ways you can build maximum personal chemistry.